Just wanted to talk a little bit about this push button ignition switch that I put into my 2005 Jeep Wrangler TJ. I did it because, like I've been having, or I was having ignition problems when I put the key in the Jeep and turned it forwards. Everything would work, all the electrical would work, but I wouldn't actually get any ignition. The truck wouldn't start. Sometimes it would, sometimes it wouldn't. If I was lucky, I'd turn it a couple times and then it would start, or I'd hold it forward for a long time and maybe it would start. Sometimes it would start, sometimes it wouldn't. So winter was coming and I didn't want to be stuck out in the cold hoping that my truck would start at night or anything like that. It was just becoming kind of an issue for me. And I was looking up on forums and all over the internet to see what I could find. Some people said it was this inside of here. There's the I believe it's the actuator pin, which was this piece of plastic inside of a housing that would, when you would put the key in, would go, there was just this little tab. I'm gonna have to put a picture up or something like that to show you exactly what I'm talking about. But there was a pin that would push where is it? This right here. This is the actual ignition switch. In here, there the actuator pin would push through, and there's a little tab in the middle of this which would allow you to turn the turn this ignition switch into certain positions, turning certain things on, and then finally you can turn it forward and then start the vehicle. Well, anyways, I replaced both this and I replaced the actuator pin and the housing and all that. Two different parts. Still no solution. So I'm kind of stumped. My decision was to put a switch in that would directly wire this button to the starter, and I did it. It's very simple, very crude, straight to the point. It's a straight up bypass, and it is used, I use it now almost all the time to start the truck. You do still need the key in the ignition, so you have to have the ignition turned forward with the key in, and then you push the button and then it'll fire it up. If you try to start it without the key in, it'll just run the starter and not give the vehicle ignition because the key needs to be in to turn on everything else. Some might say that that's kind of, I don't know, too much work, or it eliminates the point of having a push button starter, but I consider it kind of a safety measure. You can't start the truck with the key alone. You need to push the button. Anyways, let me show you how I did it. So what I did here was I opened up underneath the steering column and exposed all of this that you see here. I exposed this bundle of wires, and I looked for the main hot lead that comes into the engine, or into your ignition column here. That would be the thickest red, there's the thickest red wire of the bunch. And then I tested them. I tested a lot of these just to make sure that this was the proper voltage that I could splice off of. So I took that, just separated the wire, tied that into one of the ports on this switch. It's been a little while, so this tape, I'm gonna have to retape this, but anyways, tied it onto one of these terminals of the switch, And then I took an old vacuum cleaner cord. Like I said, this is very crude, but it does exactly what it has to do. This is an insulated cable, I think, short of using an extension cord, which was I think, an expensive solution to this. I chose to use one of these vacuum cleaner cords that I salvaged off of a vacuum that didn't work. Took that, used just one of the 2 leads. This is a 2-lead black and white cord. Ran that. I connected it to one end of this terminal here. Ran it through, up and around, zip tied it down, and then I ran it through the firewall under there where a lot of the electrical runs through. Through this, up and around, tied it onto here. And then I ran it straight down to the starter where, I don't know if you can see this, but there's a yellow and silver wire right there that connects to the starter. Now, I went and I tested before I changed out all of those, the ignition switch and the ignition actuator pin. Before I changed all that out, I kind of reverse tested everything back through here at all points of contact. I tested, there's this yellow silver wire right there, tested it there, over there, at that point, all the way back as far as I could to check for continuity. And it seemed like there were no breaks in the wire. I just don't know what the issue is. If anybody has any solution to this, please let me know. But anyways, so there it is. It ties right into that and makes a direct connection to the starter from that switch. Very crude. Runs, like I said, again here all the way through, down into the through the firewall and to the switch right there. Now I'm going to show you what I mean when I say that you need the key. Okay, so here's the button, and this is a manual transmission, TJ. So the wise thing to do would be to put the clutch in before you go to start it, like you would any sort of manual. Now there's no key in here, as you can see, and I'm just going to push the button by running the starter. I'm going to run the starter by pushing this button here. You see, you get no ignition. Now I'm going to put the key in and turn the key by itself, and we'll see if it actually starts. It might. No ignition, pushing the button, letting go of both at the same time, the Jeep is started. And the windshield wipers are on. Alright, so that's it. That's how I did it. Like I said, it's a very crude fix, but it does exactly what I wanted it to. It cost me $10 for the switch after I spent $35 and $20, almost $50 or $60 to get these parts ordered offline, because they're very hard to come by. You can't just buy them at an auto parts store. And I didn't want to go to the dealership, so I ordered them from Amazon. But anyways, like I said, that's a push button ignition starter switch, which bypasses everything and gives you a straight connection to the starter for the 2005 Jeep Wrangler TJ. I hope this helps. If you have any information about this problem, if you had this, if you can give me some more, I don't know, give me a solution so that I might not have to use this all the time, that would be definitely helpful. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you like this one. And keep following along. I should post a couple other Jeep videos pretty soon. Alright, well, thanks for watching. Keep on Jeeping.